All right, these are your 10-7 notes. This is special segments in a circle. First part is pretty easy. The back part can get confusing, so make sure you write everything down because it can get a little complicated. Okay, so the first part is not hard. If you have segments intersecting inside of a circle, well, it says if two chords intersect in a circle, then the products of the lengths of the chord segments are equal. So all this is you just do A times B, and that's just going to equal to C times D, and that's it. So you're just multiplying your two pieces of your chords. So let's go ahead and do a couple examples real quick, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth if necessary. So this first one, all right, so you have your two chords, they're intersecting on the inside. All you do is you just multiply your pieces. So you have 2 and x that you multiply, which gives me 2x, and then you have 3, which I'll box these in so that you can see they're different. 3 times 6. So 3 times 6 is 18. Divide both sides by 2. You will end up getting x is equal to 9. Alright, number 2. Same thing, just change up my colors here. So here you have 6 and x. So 6 times x is equal to, here you have 8 and 8. So 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 divided by 6 will give you a decimal. So rounding to the nearest tenth, it will be 10.7. Okay, number 3. So for number 3 here, we have x times x plus 7. So this is going to be a fun one. And that's going to equal to multiplying these. So you have 3 and 6. Okay, so we're going to distribute this x. So you have x squared plus 7x is equal to 18. You need to set this equal to 0 because it's becoming quadratic. So you have x squared plus 7x minus 18 is equal to 0. So that means we have x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something is going to give us 0, and we need to figure out those two numbers. So you need two numbers that whenever you multiply them will give you a negative 18, but when you add them up will give you a positive 7. So I'm going to go through my factors, and I already know the answer to save some time. That's going to be 2 and 9. The 2 needs to be a negative because negative 2 plus 9 will give you a positive 7, and that's your middle term. So we'll have x minus 2 and we'll have x plus 9. So we're going to set each of those equal to 0. So x minus 2 is equal to 0, x plus 9 is equal to 0. So this one will have x is equal to 2. This one will have x is equal to negative 9. These are measurements within this circle. You can't have a negative measurement, so this answer will not work. So your answer will be x is equal to 2. Okay, and last one like this. So here you have a 3x and an x, so 3x times x, and then you have 8 and 6, so 8 times 6. So this one, that's 3x squared is equal to 48. You can divide both sides by 3, so you get x squared is equal to 16. Square root both sides, so the square root of 16 is a positive 4 and a negative 4. And again, since we're doing measurements, you don't want a negative measurement, so your answer will just be positive 4. Okay, and that's the easy part. So now let's go to the back side. Okay, segments intersecting outside of a circle. So it says here, if secants and tangents intersect outside a circle, then two products are equal. A secant segment is a segment of a secant line that has exactly one endpoint on the circle. If two secants are drawn to form an exterior point, then the product of the measures of one secant segment and its external secant segment is equal to the product of the measures of the other secant segment and its external secant segment. This can get really, really confusing, so that I'm going to explain it to you the best I can and break it down. So what this means is that when you have your two secants like we do, and here's your exterior point, okay, out here at this angle T, okay, to figure out what x is, what you have to do is you're doing the whole thing, so TP times just this exterior little part, TS. So I like to think whole times part of it is equal to the whole, so TL, times that exterior part, so TQ. So whole times part, whole times part. And if you need a highlight, like if you need 4 colors, then use 4 colors. So TP, this whole thing, TP is the whole thing. And I'll use different colors to help you out with this one. Okay, that's going to be 8 plus 2. TS is just this piece right here. So TS is going to be 8. And that is equal to, okay, TL, which TL would be my whole thing. So TL is all of this. So that's going to be x plus 11. Okay, so TL was x plus 11, and now we have to do a TQ, and TQ is just this piece right in here. So TQ is just going to be x. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we are going to simplify this. So 8 plus 2 is 10, and 10 times 8 gives me 80. Then I'm going to distribute the x over here, so we'll have x squared plus 11x. Okay, so again, you have another quadratic. You need to set this equal to 0. So 0 is equal to x squared plus 11x minus 80, because I had to get it equal to 0, so I brought the 80 over. And so what you need is you need two numbers that when you multiply will give you a negative 80, but add to give you 11. To save some time, it's negative 5 and positive 16. So 0 is equal to x minus 5 and x plus 16. You set both those equal to 0, and you want the one that's going to come out to be positive. So the one that's going to come out to be positive is x minus 5 is equal to 0. Add 5 to both sides, x is equal to 5. Okay, so that's if you have your secants. The next part is a tangent. So if a tangent segment and a secant segment are drawn to a circle from exterior point, then the square of the measure of the tangent segment is equal to the product of the measures of the secant segment and its external segment. So again, I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier to show you what pieces we're dealing with. So it says the square of the measure of the tangent segment. So my tangent here is going to be AB. So AB squared is equal to, and then you're looking at your two little pieces. So you're going to look at the product of the secant segment and its external secant segment. So what I'm multiplying is my piece and the whole thing on the secant part. So your piece is going to be BC, and the whole thing is going to be BD. Okay, so what does it look like with numbers? Well, AB is 18, so 18 squared is equal to BC is just 15, and BD is 15 plus x. So we're going to go ahead and simplify this. 18 squared is 324. 15 times 15 is 225. Then you get 15x. Subtract 225, you get 99 is equal to 15x. Divide both sides by 15, and we'll round to the nearest tenth. So we'll have 6.6 is equal to x. Okay, so we have 3 examples, and then that's it. So for this one, this is going to be kind of like the second example that we just did. So you will have yp squared is equal to np or pm times pt. So 3.3 squared is equal to 2.2 times 2.2 plus x. So we'll have 3.3 squared is 10.89 is equal to 2.2 times 2.2, we have 4.84 plus 2.2x. Subtract that, you'll get 6.05 is equal to 2.2x. Divide both sides by 2.2, so x will come out to be 2.75. And you can always pause this, rewind it, all that stuff. Okay, number 2. So for this one, you have GH that you're going to square. And then you have your outside part, which is GS, and you have your total part, which is your GW. So we have 13 squared is equal to 9 times 9 plus 5x. 13 squared is 169. 9 times 9 is 81, and 9 times 5 is 45x. Subtract 81, so you have 88 is equal to 45x. Divide both sides by 45, you get 1.96 is equal to x. Alright, and the last one we have over here, so we have two secants. So we're going to do NM times NL is equal to NA times NB. So we will have 8 times 8 plus 8, which is 16, because if that's 8, then this is 8, so the whole thing is 16. NA, which is 6, times the whole thing, so 6 plus 2x. So 8 times 16 is 128, 6 times 6 is 36, 6 times 2x is 12x. Subtract 36, you get 92 is equal to 12x. Divide both sides by 12, so x is equal to 7.7. Alright, and that's it. So you just need to identify whether you have secants or if you have a secant and a tangent, because based off of that, then you'll know which formula you need to do, which way to go about to solve those problems. So that is it for your 10-7 notes.